She is said to reside in Dawn and Dusk, the fleeting moments between night and day, a goddess of twilight, prophecy, and fate. To her followers, Azura is a guiding light, one of the few Daedric princes who seems to truly care for mortal lives. But Twilight is a place of illusions, and Azura herself is no exception. Her kindness conceals cruelty, her promises mask selfish desires. Her love is conditional, her motives steeped in vanity and jealousy. Can we truly call her good, or is she simply another tyrant, disguising her hunger for devotion behind a veil of benevolence? To many mortals, Azura is a beacon worthy of devotion. She is revered by the Dunmer, who view her as a compassionate guardian, one who offers solace in times of strife. Her plane of Oblivion is Moonshadow, a realm where light and darkness converge in breathtaking harmony. It is said to be a land of such overwhelming beauty that mortal visitors may find themselves blinded by its brilliance. Here, silver cities shimmer under the glow of perpetual twilight, and lush landscapes of trees, flowers, and cascading waterfalls stretch as far as the eye can see. At the heart of this ethereal realm lies Azura's Rose Palace, where she herself resides in serene majesty. This is where she spins her schemes, her plans guiding the fates and futures of mortal lives. Azura's relationship with the Dunmer began long ago, when that people was still known as the golden-skinned Chimer. She was central to the exile of the Chimer, and ultimately their rebirth as the ashen-skinned Dunmer of Morrowind. To understand her influence, we must go back to the beginning, to the Exodus which led the Chimer out of Alinor and to their promised homeland in the east. The Exodus began with Veloth, a prophet who rejected the rigid orthodoxy of Altmer society. Guided by visions, he led his followers east, away from the Somerset Isles and toward the land of Resdain that we now know as Morrowind. The Chimer abandoned their traditional Altmer gods to follow the teachings of three Daedric princes, Boethia, Mephala, and Azura, the so-called Good Daedra. While Boethia was the driving force behind their departure, consuming the god Trinimac and sparking Veloth's rebellion, Azura guided a share of the Chimer to the star-wounded east. She was more than just an abstract deity. She played an active role as a teacher, a guide, and a protector. The Chimer believed that she showed them how to live in harmony with their fate, shaping their culture and beliefs. Azura's partnership with Boethia and Mephala forms a strange triad in Chimer mythology. While Boethia provided revolutionary fire and Mephala taught the secrets of subterfuge and assassination, Azura took a different role. She was the bridge between the mundane and the divine, embodying twilight and prophecy. While the other two princes taught the Chimer survival in a dangerous world, Azura offered something deeper, a vision of their spiritual destiny. This combination of practicality and mysticism made the Good Daedra indispensable to the Chimer's survival. Azura's influence on the people of Morrowind is woven deeply into their culture, and at the heart of their devotion lies a symbol that represents both her essence and her divine will, the five-pointed star. Each of the star's points reflects an aspect of Azura's dominion, offering the faithful a guide to understanding her complex nature and their relationship to her. Prophecy is the first point. Azura's whispers and visions foretell the future, though even the faithful grasp only the dimmest fragments of her foresight. Dawn marks the second point, the moment of divine urgency, calling her followers to action. At this time they offer prayers, filled with reverence and trepidation, knowing her answers may exact a cost. Rose represents Azura's colour, symbolising the midday of life. In the midst of daily duties, the Dunmer remember Azura's presence, bridging the sacred and the mundane. It is in this balance that they find connection with her. Dusk is the fourth point, a time for reflection and action. It is when her followers turn to her commands, offering their deeds and reflecting on the choices they've made. Both judgment and peace can be found in the twilight. Fate is the final point, the page where Azura records the deeds of mortals. Through their actions, the faithful earn her favour or her disdain. Each soul's destiny is written in the pages of her prophecy, their fates guided by her cosmic schemes. Azura's teachings and symbols are not abstract concepts, but living truths that guide her followers. Her five-pointed star reflects the cycle of life itself, one that begins, progresses, and ends in a way that is eternally tied to her will. Azura's star, her most famous artifact, embodies much of what this symbolism conveys. It is a perfect reflection of Azura's power over fate, serving as both a boon and burden to its wielder. The star is a powerful artifact, capable of trapping souls, but as with all things tied to Azura, This power comes at a cost. The star is a reminder that power, like prophecy, is not without consequence. In its light, the faithful see the duality of Azura, her ability to bless and to curse, her wisdom and her ruthlessness. The relationship between Azura and the Chimer reached its zenith through Lord Nerevar, the greatest hero of their people. Azura and Nerevar shared a sacred bond. Nerevar sought her wisdom on critical matters, and received her blessing in the forging of the ring Moon and Star, an artifact that proved instrumental in uniting the Chimer clans under his leadership. But this bond would soon be tested. The Chimer, led by Nerevar, went to war with the Dunmer in a struggle for control over the mysterious heart of Lorcan, a source of immense divine power. The Dunmer planned to use the power of the heart to elevate their race to godhood, and Nerevar and his followers swore an oath to Azura never to claim this divine power for themselves. In a climactic battle on the slopes of Red Mountain, Nerevar was killed, and the entire Dunmer race simply vanished from existence. What happened next is uncertain, but it's clear that 3 of Nerevar's followers, the Vec, Almalexia, and Sothasil, used the power of the heart to make themselves gods. Some whisper that the 3 even murdered Nerevar so that they could steal the power of the heart for themselves. The 3 were now reborn as the Tribunal, the new living gods of their people. But the goddess of Twilight is not so easily spurned. Enraged at the death of Nerevar and the broken oaths of the Tribunal, she appeared before them and uttered a fateful curse. She foretold that Nerevar would return to punish them for their sins. But Sothasil mocked Azura, saying, "The old gods are cruel and arbitrary, and distant from the hopes and fears of Mer. Your age is past. We are the new gods." Vivek recalls what happened next. And then, in that moment, all Chimer were changed into Dunmer, and our skins turned ashen and our eyes into fire. Azura said, "This is not my act, but yours. You have chosen your fate, and the fate of your people, and all the Dunmer shall share your fate, from now to the end of time. You think yourselves gods, but you are blind, and all is darkness." This was more than punishment. It was a brand, an irrevocable mark of shame. No matter where the Dunmer went, they would carry this legacy with them, wearing it like a stain. To Azura, the transformation was no mere vengeance, it was a declaration of her power. She would not forgive betrayal, and she would make sure no one, even the living gods, would forget it. Azura's curse didn't just change the Dunmer's appearance, it reshaped their identity, their culture, and their faith. Their worship turned away from the Daedra and towards the newly ascended gods of the Tribunal. But the 3 good Daedra were not forsaken entirely. The Tribunal Temple hailed them as the Anticipations, and they were seen as the early ancestral incarnations of the Tribunal gods. Azura was known as the Anticipation of Sothasil, the female counterpart to his male. And in the wastes of Vardenfell, Ashlanders continued to pray to Azura, refusing to bend the knee to these strange new gods. Azura's curse reminds us that even good Daedric princes can wield cruelty as a weapon. To some, the curse is a lesson, a warning about hubris and divine consequence. To others, it is proof that Azura, for all her beauty and grace, is as jealous and vengeful as the other Daedra she stands apart from. But although her position as patron of the Dunmer had been usurped by the Tribunal, the power of these new gods would not endure forever. Late in the Second Era, as the 3 gods made their annual journey to the heart to replenish their power, they were ambushed. Thorin Dagoth, Nerevar's right hand, thought killed in the Battle of Red Mountain, had returned as Dagoth corrupted by the power of the heart. The Tribunal escaped, but were cut off from the heart's power. Over the coming centuries, Dagoth's power would grow as the Threes would weaken, and he sent out blights and ash storms which ravaged the province of Morrowind. But as Dagoth's shadow grew, one hope remained, the prophecy of Nerevar's return. Azura was the architect of this prophecy, and she wove it with meticulous precision. From the dreams of the Ashlanders to the visions of seers, every thread of the tale bore her touch. She positioned herself as the guardian of this destiny, ensuring that the Nerevarine would one day return to fulfill his oath. But why would Azura concern herself so deeply with the downfall of Dagoth? The answer lies with the heart of Lorcan. Dagoth's power stemmed from it, as did the divinity of the Tribunal. The Tribunal's betrayal and their theft of godhood had wounded Azura's pride, severing the Dunmer from their devotion to her. With the heart destroyed, the Tribunal's power would crumble, and Dagothar's dominion over Red Mountain would be shattered. When the Nerevarine emerged at the close of the Third Era, Azura appeared before them at the Cavern of the Incarnate. She bestowed upon them her blessing in the form of the enchanted ring Moon and Star, an act that would be instrumental in uniting the Ashlander tribes and the great houses alike. Yet, Azura's guidance of the Nerevarine was not simply about ending Dagothar's terror. It was about reclaiming her place among the Dunmer. By ensuring the downfall of the Tribunal and the destruction of the Heart, she could break the chains of their false divinity and remind the Dunmer of the god who had shaped them. Ultimately, Azura's prophecy was fulfilled when the Nerevarine destroyed the heart of Lorcan and slew Dagothar. The Tribunal's power too was broken. Sothasil and Amalexi were killed, and Vivek either dead or vanished. But when the dust settled, what remained was not just a land free from blight, but a people left questioning their faith. And into that void Azura stepped, ready to reclaim the devotion of her long-lost children. To the Dunmer, the Nerevarines' victory was proof of Azura's enduring favour, but to the critical eye, it reveals a deeper truth about her nature. Azura's actions were not purely benevolent, they were deliberate, precise, and ultimately self-serving. The Nerevarine Prophecy was a masterstroke, a means to heal the wound left by the Tribunal's betrayal and to ensure that the Dunmer returned to her embrace. And return they did. After the fall of the Tribunal, the new temple restored worship of the good Daedra, and Azura is now acclaimed as one of the 3 reclamations. Since the disaster of the Red Year, the influence of the new temple has only increased as the Dunmer turn towards their ancestral gods for comfort. But we must question whether Azura played a part in this disaster. The destruction of Vardenfell was a direct consequence of the Tribunal's fall, in which Azura played a decisive role. Is it possible that the goddess of Twilight allowed the Red Year to happen so that she might tighten her grip around the hearts of her followers? We can only speculate, but one thing remains clear. Azura is an architect of fate, one who ensures that her plans will unfold with the inevitability of the setting sun. In the end, the goddess of Twilight is a being of contradictions, radiant yet shadowed, loving yet vengeful, prophetic yet cryptic. She guides her followers through the delicate balance between light and dark, dawn and dusk, fate and free will. To the Dunmer, she is both protector and punisher, a force that shapes destinies and seals fates with the same hand. Her influence is felt through every moment of Morrowind's history, from the rise of the Chimer to their transformation into the Dunmer, and through to the culmination of the Nerevarine Prophecy. But Azura's role is never simple. Her kindness is laced with jealousy, her guidance motivated with self-interest. She gives with one hand while taking with the other. She offers salvation on her terms alone, and to defy her is to embrace annihilation. Azura is a goddess who demands devotion, not out of love, but because she is the weaver of fate itself. The fate of mortals is a delicate tapestry, and she is both its creator and its judge. As her followers live by her star, they must remember that even the brightest light casts a shadow. And in Azura's shadow, there is always danger, an eternal reminder that her favour comes at a cost.